The other places where we have our bottling facilities, the record shows, the testimony from the written testimony that's in front of you is from the manager of the natural resources, Mr. Tom Brennan, who filed material showing at these sites, because that's the criteria for the statute, where the water's getting transported, we have insufficient capacity. What that means is, not just to meet the growing demand, but because we have permitting levels, and that he says this, the testimony shows the permitting levels, we have to stop. And that means we need more sources, which we will always respect.
But doesn't it also, this gets back to Justice Clifford's point, it demonstrates that this is a finite resource. This is not an endless resource. And if the resource is finite, and if it is now being, it has arrived at the point where you've got to look to the town of Denmark to start pumping out multiple gallons and increasing capacity, why should we accept an argument that a loss of market share is enough to show a substantial hardship that allows your client to continue to truck water out of the state?
Should the town of Denmark have an increased need locally for that water, then yes, Poland Spring will look to other sources to meet its existing and projected demands. And the state, as Justice Clifford has noted, has indicated here is the standard.
But aren't you working on an upside-down pyramid as you extract more water and take it away? Local towns then begin to lose their water capacity, so you move to the next town, and you create in the market a greater desire for bottled water elsewhere, which means that this finite and fairly precious natural resource in Maine begins to be the source for a greater and greater demand nationally. If your capacity to say market share gets you substantial hardship, it is endless.
Madam Chair, members of the Planning Board, my name is Philip Aaron. I'm an attorney with Pierce Atwood in Portland, and I'm here this evening representing Poland Spring, the applicant. I want to emphasize again that I ask you to go back and review the record rather than taking the oral arguments that are made on behalf of advocates. I'll give you two very quick ones. One was that everyone spoke against this except one person. That is not true. There were other people that spoke for it. Secondly, I want to explain the 50 trucks. First of all, we are required to put forward the maximum number of trips. In this case, it's a permit condition. The maximum number of trips is 50 trucks a day. We have never said that we would run 50 trucks a day, 365 days a year on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
We're here because the Planning Board has been asked to make this determination about whether or not this omitted use, this trucking facility that doesn't fall under any of the list of uses on the land use table, is a permitted use in the rural residential zoning district. So the second item, and on the substance here, is this trucking facility a low impact use? This project will result in 50 trucks a day, which is 100 truck trips in and out of the site, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It never stops.
And I don't think there's any one of us who live here that can't document our own idea of what rural Fryeburg is. Incorporated in 1777, I think rural speaks for itself. That's why people stay here, that's why they live here, that's why they come here. Because it's safe, it's beautiful, and it's rural. To me, the impact, if you cut down a woodland, that is a towering benchmark for rural. If you cut down woodland and you put in a concrete pad, a chain link fence, a 22-wheel tanker, lights, signage, exhaust, motors, what's kind of sort of, what's medium or low? To me, that's high impact. It's absolutely high impact. It's not kind of sort of a 22-wheel tanker. And whether you got one or four, it's a high-impact truck. Who's going to look at one of those going by you and say, that's a low-impact truck? So all I can say is to the board, the thing that really, really frightens and terrifies me the very, very most is the precedent that this sets. This incursion says, once you open this door to this multi-billion-dollar predator, once you open that door and you allow that incursion of that commercial facility in that rural woodland, once you allow that, when you people aren't on the board and your families and your properties are at stake, somebody, and probably Nestle's, will be back here and say, you allowed that once, and now you can't get out of allowing it again because the precedent has been set.
And I speak as the transportation director for the school district. And my concern is not the number of trucks that are going to be traveling, it's more that they're going to be entering at a point where they're going to be trying to pick up speed in an area where I feel it's very bad visibility, and there is a high amount of bus traffic there, and it's all through the day because there's also the boat buses. And there's other kinds of traffic. Anybody that's driven that road realizes that people do speed, and it's not a particularly safe road here. If you're going 55, you pass by 3 or 4 vehicles in a stretch of a mile. So my real concern here is that we're going to have these trucks that are 40 tons pulling out at a bad point. And as Mr. Dubois said, people are asleep. And that's what my concern is. They're going to come up in these trucks at 70 miles an hour. They're not going to think, they're going to go in the other lane, and who knows what's going to be coming at them. So it's, in my book, it's not low impact or high impact, it's big impact.
My name is Ken Brown, North Fryeburg. As far as the safety park business, I have a niece in front of Jockey Cab. She was pulling in, had her direction lights to go into the shopping center across the Jockey Cab. Pulled a spring truck coming around the corner, accelerating, not slowing down, accelerating, hit her. Now this man over, gentleman over here, whoever he is, I don't know him. I have no dog in this fight. If he thinks the loss of my niece and the passenger that was in her car is so trivial that he doesn't care about anyone else either, and neither does Nestle's water company.
I'm not against Poland Spring, but this gentleman talks about how the impact of water is going to be shipped out. Do you know the water industry has a high demand, and that demand is going to increase, and they're going to submit another application down the road because they can't keep up with supply and demand.